Aloha, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Hawaii Abroad podcast. I'm your host, Auntie Max, and my intention is to share the voices and stories of Native Hawaiians, also known as Kanaka Maoli, that relocated away from our homeland of Hawaii. I'm here with my very good friend, Tiffany Zuttermiester. She's an island girl, born and raised in Kaneohe, Hawaii, on the windward side of Oʻahu. She comes from a talented Hawaiian family that encompasses both the hula and music community. Her great-grandmother, Kau'i Zuttermiester, composed the beloved song Napua Lei I Lima. Her great-aunt is Kumuhula Noi Zuttermiester. Her brother, Hoku, is a popular, award-winning Hawaiian musician. And she has been teaching hula in Las Vegas, Nevada for several years. I'm so excited to be sharing with everyone her journey and how she got to this point in her life as a Native Hawaiian living abroad. Oi! Aloha, Tiffany, and thank you so much for joining me today. Before I ask my questions, I wanted to give you a chance to share with us your journey on relocating and how you now became a resident of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Well, first off, thank you for having me. I started my journey in 2014 of February, moving here to Las Vegas. It was a better opportunity for my keiki, more possibilities for them as they were um, exiting their high school, starting their elementary. I have a 10-year gap between my two youngest. So it was I think that it was a more opportunity for them to explore the world. We're on the island, we're kind of on the island. So exploring out of the Hawaiian Islands was an opportunity for my kids to broaden their horizon in what it's like to see, what they have to offer outside of Hawaii.
Okay, so why Las Vegas? Why did you choose this out of all the states you could have moved to? Why Las Vegas?
I actually came here in 2013 for a family reunion and we took the kids to Disneyland. And I think it's because I chose Las Vegas is I was familiar with it. I have friends that I would come up here every year to visit. So staying at their hale compared to staying in a hotel and on the strip is completely different. You see a different side of Las Vegas where you're not as on the touristy type of exploring Las Vegas. And I felt that I was comfortable enough um, to move here with just me and my keiki, not knowing a lot, but knowing enough to get by. I've actually toiled with the idea of here and Washington, and I don't know what made me just come to Vegas, but I just ended in Vegas.
So, do you think this relocation is to be temporary or permanent, or what do you think?
With the economy nowadays and how expensive Hawaii is getting, I don't think I could ever move back home to live as a resident, only because it's getting expensive here in Las Vegas too because of just how the world is happening right now. But I'm able to have my own place and I'm able to give my keiki what we could never have as little ones back home in Hawaii. We in Hawaii, it's so expensive that I'm sure if I was to move back home, it would be living with family members or friends. As you know, there would be no way that I could get my own place and have my own house just because of the expense and being a single mom and things like that. So I don't think I could ever go back. I always truly believe home will be home. It won't go anywhere. We can always go back and visit. But I I truly believe always be there, and we can always go back, but I don't think I'll ever be able to live back home.
Yeah, I totally understand the economy is really crazy back at home. And yeah, there's so much people that had to move because of that. And
Mhm.
interesting that you chose Las Vegas to be that one. Especially with the weather. The weather is
I
hot,
think it's
cold, and so
because
on.
I also think because it's closer to home than other places. Like California is a lot more expensive than Vegas. So being home and going to either Washington or Utah, I think I thought of it as the ninth island, so to say. We have a lot of locals, a lot of things that happen here. So it was more of a comforting type of decision for Las Vegas.
Totally hear you, yeah. So I want to share some statistics that I was able to do. So based on some of my recent research on this topic, Native Hawaiian population in Hawaii has decreased tremendously. Yeah. So Native Hawaiians seem to be migrating away from their homeland in Hawaii, unfortunately. So when I did my research and using the U.S. Consensus report, and they do that every 10 years, yeah. So they just did it recently on in 2020. But when you look at those numbers from 2010 and 2020, you see a 50% decrease in the population. But when you look at the overall amount of how much Hawaiian and Pacific Islanders that live in Hawaii, that percentage is only 11% of that whole population is
Mhm,
actually locals, Native Hawaiians, or they
mhm.
actually group it with Pacific Islanders also, yeah. So, um, we're looking at only 11% of of the people is actually natives. So, and if you want to know the number, it went from 355,000 down to 157,000. And that's the overall.
Wow.
Right now, there's 150,000 there. So that's a really small number. But when we look at Nevada's number, that number's increased. That's interesting. It's showing that Hawaii is still at least the number one with Hawaiian population, but
Mhm.
California is not too far behind. And then we have Nevada, which is not too far behind that. So, what do you think about those statistics to know that it's only 11% of the people in Hawaii is actually Native Hawaiians or Pacific Islanders?
I think that's really sad. I really think that, it's really sad that because of circumstances that are beyond the Native Hawaiians' control, that they have to move for them to survive and for them to make it out there, for them to be successful. I think that a lot of times the Native Hawaiians kind of get, I mean, and this is my belief, they kind of get shunned upon because we live on an island. We don't have that opportunity like California or Nevada have, for our keiki, especially. You know, Growing up, we never had the opportunity to have scouts come and see us for colleges and things like that. And very rare Hawaii has that right now, where families have to move their children out of Hawaii to get the opportunity to play sports in college or to even just get looked at. You have your handful of people that will go to Kamehameha or Iolani to see other, to see athletes, but it's because of who you know and not what you know. That's my
Yeah.
belief. And so it's really sad that they have to venture off. Um, I wish I could raise my keiki the way that we were raised on the beach and, in the mountains and things like that. And, moving away from home makes me appreciate more what we had in our backyard. Here in Vegas, it's not easy to get to go outside and pick tea leaf to make a tea leaf lei, or to dig a hole for an emu, or it's not as easy, so you appreciate so much more that you have at home. But then yet that going home to have that luxury, so to say, financially it's not affordable. So it's
Yeah,
just sad that we have to raise our keiki outside and they don't get to experience what we did when we were little.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, so talking about your backyard, can you share with us a couple fond memories you might have of being raised in Hawaii, besides what you was telling us with your tea leaves and so on?
Some of my fondest memories. Well, coming from a hula background, we were raised at the beach, Ka'ava Beach Park. We were there every weekend, camping or just spending time with family. I miss, again, like I said, I appreciate so much more. I miss just being able to go to the mountain and pick some liko or lauae and things like that. To be easily available for us to do what we enjoy to do, which is dancing hula. Another fond memory that I miss that I have is just spending time with family. Um, Coming from a big family, we had cousins left and right, and so at a certain point every weekend we were together. Just spending time. We would sleep over, or others would come up to our house, and so it was just that type of memories I have that I wish my kids could have, being away from home. We have family and friends, but not close the way that we were close to our cousins and our aunties and uncles back then.
Yes, yes, I hear you. I know you come from a very talented Hawaiian family, yeah. They encompass the hula and music and that community, and yeah, it's awesome where we like to spend time with our family, and
Hmm.
just having the elements available to us is so different compared to being in Vegas, yeah. So, being that you come from such a talented family, and I know you share your culture, so can you share with us a little bit of what you do when it comes to perpetuating the Hawaiian culture while you're living abroad in Vegas?
Well, I was always taught by my dad that wherever you go, you take it with you. No matter where you're at, you always learn to live with aloha. You carry it with you. Um, in 2014, I decided to move to Las Vegas. I was a part of Halal back home, which under the direction of Kau'i Deleri, Kalihili Lehua Oho Poi Kuikunani. And it was we were a family. Like, we did a lot together through Halal. And coming up here in Las Vegas, I had reached out to Kumu and just expressed my feeling that I wanted to continue hula here for me and my daughter. And but it was very challenging finding something that was traditional, um, the way that it was at home. And I guess I got spoiled dancing with Auntie Aloha. Well, growing up with my dad and then dancing with Auntie Aloha and then on to Kauai, I kind of was stuck in my way, I guess, so to say, that I was only used to their style, their upbringing and their beliefs. I shouldn't say their beliefs, but their style. And so trying to find something here in Las Vegas, it was very challenging for me, because it was completely different. So I reached back out to Kumu, and I had told her, and at that point she was just starting her Aikumu hula, which was worldwide. She was teaching abroad. And I told her, I said, I'm having a very hard time, and I don't see myself continuing on unless it's something that I'm comfortable with. And my daughter and I used to dance in the living room, just bringing back memories and dancing together. And so she played with the idea of, how about you open a branch in Las Vegas for me? So, it kind of sat on the back burner for a while. And in 2015, for my birthday, she actually gifted me with halal name, for Las Vegas, my branch here in Las Vegas. So we are under the direction of Kau'i Deleri, and I do teach hula here. We have a bunch of keiki and wahine that all come from Hawaii or have Hawaii ties, to just teach them and live our culture the way that we could, the best that we could here, how we used to do back home in Hawaii. So we get together every week. I do lay classes. We try to do tea leaf lay classes for the babies. I try to bring back what I learned when I was little so that they can carry it on and know and have the knowledge to continue it on.
My Ka'i, I'm so happy for you and for the community because I know there's such a big community of Hawaiian Kanakas in Las Vegas, and they could totally use those kind of support. So
Hmm.
mahalo
Hmm.
for doing that for us. Um, so you're still with Kau'i and you're doing it
Hmm.
abroad. So you're having online classes with her and then you're passing that on to your students. Is that how it
Correct.
works?
Correct. So we have weekly classes with her, um, via Zoom online, and then we go and we teach our haumana what we've learned.
My
And we have
Ka'i,
we have yearly workshops with her. She does come and visit branches frequently, to uh, work one-on-one with us and with Halal. So
my
yes.
Ka'i, my Ka'i. Well, because I know you personally, I know that you do more than what you do with the halal. So can you share with us a little bit more about other culture things that you do within the community?
Well, I've actually been very fortunate to be asked, pre-COVID, to be part of a committee to form committee at form of to try and bring our Hawaiian culture here to Las Vegas, opening up a Hawaiian chartered school. That kind of has been put on pause for a minute because of COVID, but I continue to look at it as that's a goal in the near future with things starting to open up. When I got presented with the opportunity, it really sparked my interest, especially because my occupation, I'm in the education field. But knowing that our Kiki here in Las Vegas, especially that our community is so big, that they can benefit from that, because a lot of times people, when they leave home, they lose the culture. They don't know where to find it. They don't know how to continue it. I had to get used to a lot of things where, back home, like I said, we take advantage of just going in our backyard and picking flowers, making leis, where now we have to use our imagination or settle for artificial flowers or things like that, in which I have a really hard time still doing that. But we do that. And so, I'm hoping that we can get that committee to form um, back in action, and start looking for that Hawaiian chartered school again. We can easily, it's a process. I didn't realize, and I came to appreciate education much more, that applying for the chartered school it's a big process, and I didn't realize how much work it takes. So you appreciate a lot more, but then on the other hand, you know that you're doing it for the kids, you're doing it for the keiki to continue. We were looking in doing hula, Hawaiian language, um, all of that. So that's an outside community thing that I do here when we have the time. But now that COVID is starting to ease up, we're hoping to bring that back.
My Ka'i, we really need that because, as we was going over the statistics about everybody moving away from Hawaii, well, we want to keep our culture going regardless where they reside, yeah. So
Hmm.
having that as a resource is awesome. So Oloimua, yes, continue to do that. My Ka'i. So you brought up a little bit about what you do, your work, yeah. So can you share a little bit with us about your career, the opportunities that you have being here in Las Vegas?
Sure. I actually am the director of admissions for Southern Highlands Preparatory School. I just started that position in July. I was previously with a Jewish day school. as an admission coordinator. So I'm still in the education field. In Hawaii, I was in the education field teaching. And then coming to Las Vegas, I ended up in the admin building, working with the administrators. So currently, right now, I am the director of admissions. I actually am encountering a lot of Hawaii people looking for private schools that are moving during this summer. So it's really funny because I've touched bases with probably around 7 to 8 Hawaii families that are moving, looking for a better education for their keiki because the school system, they struggle so much, whether it's DOE or whether it's CCSD. They don't have the resources of to provide for the keiki who need different, I guess, so to say, their education needs. And so it saddens me that so many people from Hawaii are leaving, but it makes me so happy that I can touch bases with them, and we're planning to like meet and get together when they come on for tours and things like that. So it's really, I'm glad that I'm able to help people from Hawaii get that further step ahead in education for their keiki.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. My ka'i,
Yeah.
my ka'i. Okay, so if you do you have any message that you would like to share with the Hawaiian community, regardless where they are, here in, well, in Las Vegas or in Hawaii? You have any kind of message that you would like to share with them about relocating or anything you want to say at all?
I'd just like to say that um, relocating, there are families that struggle with the thought of relocating because they don't want to leave home. So they put themselves and their ohana in crisis because of financials. It's not as scary as you think. There are a lot of locals that we are here to welcome you with open arms if you need to make that move. And there are ways to perpetuate the Hawaiian culture, whether it's just surrounding yourself with ohana, with local people, with your just being familiar with the way that our lifestyle was back home, because it is completely different here. But it's not as scary as it is. And for me, I always say home is where your heart is. And you are the ones to perpetuate the Hawaiian culture. You were brought up with it, you know it. Continue it with your keiki because they will never know. I actually am planning, and we're fundraising right now to for halal to come back home in July to so that our keiki can experience what we've experienced. I have them working in the lo'i lined up, the lo'i, I mean the local ia. We're gonna go to Kai, and I want to go to the mountains. I want them to experience that culture that we had, or we did, and continue to do, because we can't get it here. We don't have the ocean, 15 minutes away. We don't have the mountain 10 minutes away. So that's what we're doing right now, and that's why I want my keiki to go ahead and enjoy that and learn that, because a lot of times when they go home, because it's been so long that they've been home, they go and they do touristy things, I guess, so to say. They all they do is eat because they miss the Hawaiian food. So that's what we're working towards this year, is taking the keiki home so that they can experience all of that. I always, like I always tell the parents, I tell them I'm not kumu, but I am more than willing to pass on everything and anything that I've learned to the kids so that they know, whether it was, whether it is making a tili fle or how, eating a lau lau, it's just they know where they come from. So
My ka'i, my ka'i. So, if you had a chance to relocate back to Hawaii, would there be some adjustments that you would like to see before you actually take that leap to relocate back?
I think that adjustments would be wishful thinking just because of how things are back home in Hawaii. I went back home maybe 3 years ago, and my eyes was just so sore because I was like, what is all this concrete doing on the island now? We were, like I said, we were brought up in Kaava Beach Park. We were brought up there every weekend. And you go there now and there's no place to picnic or anything like that. So if there was any changes that I could make, the island of Oahu is where our tourism is, but stop building, that like just be thankful for the land that we have and stop building and putting more concrete on more and more so that the island continues to sink, because it's really sad for our keiki that we cannot show them where we were raised and what we did. So if that's one thing I would say, to stop, building, stop producing all these buildings and high rises and things like that. That would be maybe my biggest one.
You're a true country girl, yeah. Yeah, I totally hear you. It is pretty much a concrete jungle, unfortunately. And
Hmm.
yeah, being a country girl myself, being raised in Kaneohe, you enjoy the natural elements, really. Yeah, so
Definitely,
I
definitely. You got
totally,
to slow down a little bit, Yeah.
right? I feel you, girl. I totally feel you. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me today and sharing with our listeners your journey. And I always say that, just like how before in history, how we had to navigate and find new lands, just like those navigators that had to find new lands to look for something better for their families. We have that migration happening all over again. And they was brave to be able to go out and do that. And now we have that happening again. So you are very brave, and I commend you for taking that leap and finding new worlds to, just to improve the situation. But wherever you go, I definitely know that you will represent Hawaii very well with that aloha spirit within you.
Mahalo, mahalo.
Oh, thank you so much. So grateful that you was here. So I wish you and your family the best, and I hope that you guys thrive within this new land. And maybe one day come back. Hopefully, we'll see. We will see in the future. So mahalo, mahalo.
Mahalo.
And to my listeners out there, thank you again for listening to this broadcast. Hope you join us again when we speak to more Native Hawaiians and hear their stories on living abroad. I'm Auntie Max, signing off. Aloha.